and welcome to this week's episode of Holy.
Correct.
Fine. I have
Box
had
of minis gone from the campaign.
They're gone.
Fix it in post.
Yeah, exactly. For what?
Post? What?
No editing here.
Live. Welcome back to the Duskmourn Chronicles. Hopefully you enjoyed the Q&A that you would have seen. And if you've got questions, just a reminder, drop them in the chat, in the dibbly-doo stuff down below, and we'll add that to the next Q&A. So bear that in mind. Right, it has been some time since the normal campaign has been running, and so that is where our story starts. And Dice of Destiny will do our recap. Me, number one.
Good.
Okay. Right. So, what has been happening when we last left off? 3 of our intrepid heroes were dragging the corpse of Doran around in a bag that was being observed by Avery from time to time. It was weird. They went to some dwarves, then they let the merfolk eat all of the dwarves, so then they decided they needed to go somewhere else to give the merfolk another target, so they went to another dwarvish city. And there they abducted a high official, brainwashed him, convinced him that they should be given all sorts of things, including one by resurrection. This resurrection, as you have seen, was a little bit more complicated than your average run-of-the-mill resurrection, but perhaps it has succeeded. Our 3 heroes have agreed that they will return to Erech Bar, the city under siege by the centaur undead forces of Lord Fassak, and they will defeat or destroy Lord Fassak in exchange for the resurrection of Doran, the cleric dwarf who refuses to stay alive.
It's my best attempt.
Stop dying! Yes. And so that is what they have agreed to. They have been given the use of a airship, oh yes, I had eye surgery, so I can't see close up. Give me a second here. You have the use of the airship. I can't read my handwriting now. I can see it, but I can't read it. The Sheldon under Captain Higard. The Sheldon is the ship that they have been given access to. And they need to go and stop Lord Fassak. Now, the last time the party got any updates of Lord Fassack's and his movement was 5 days ago. So who knows what has happened since. And thus we continue, and we start our scene in a very cold chamber. Doran, you are suddenly awake. It is very cold. You are very naked, and the chamber is very, very empty.
Not all of me's a dwarf.
Oh, dear God.
Well, you started.
Right, I did.
I'm making the dwarf naked. I didn't do that.
Welcome back to the show. Thank you. Right. So, yes, that is where you find yourself. Now, I would like you to please give me a description of what Doran thinks Helvoth looks like.
Ooh. Would you be offended if I said he looked like Maurice?
Hi, I'm Helvoth. I guard the fucking cycle, man. Yeah, go ahead.
Halvoth is an elderly man.
Hang on a minute.
Hang on, no.
I'm middle-aged, dude. I'm not.
Seriously, I moved past that joke. I was actually doing the real description. Okay. But he thinks he's a younger man. No. So...
There's
Keep
a sword
digging,
over there.
Brandon.
That's all I'm saying.
Keep
There's a sword
digging.
over there.
Let me restart again.
Thank
Think
you.
Sir Ian McKellen. Okay? This is the vibe I get from him. So that's what I mean, like an older gentleman, but he has such he has lines on his face. He has wispy hair. He has a presence about him. The other way of thinking about him is maybe the Emperor Aurelius from the original Gladiator film.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember him.
Rolf Harris. Yeah.
And quite softly spoken, and around him shimmers, a kind of nimbus of light, and that's how I kind of imagine him, Guy.
Okay. So, sitting in the corner of this cold stone chamber is an elderly gentleman with wispy hair, looking very much like you've just described. And he says, "My dear Frodo," oh no wait, Doran. What is going on?
Do I recognize him? I mean, I guess.
He looks exactly the description you've just provided.
And I look over and I slowly cover myself with some ceremonial wrappings or whatever are, and I say, is it possible?
Oh, my come now. After what's happened to you, I think you should... Let's just get on with it. Tell me, what are you doing?
My lord, I am sorry for the failures I have heaped upon your doorstep.
Enough. I am not Reft, I am not Brax, I am Helvoth. What are you doing?
I am trying to defeat the darkness, Lord Helvoth, and save what is left of this world and what is left of my soul.
By dying.
I didn't say I was doing it successfully.
There are times where we have to decide, are we capable of doing what we want to do? Or are we simply pretending? Your burdens are clouding your judgment. Your faith is misplaced. You are not following what Helvoth is about, and it is leading you to these dark ends. You need to choose a path. It doesn't matter what path, but you must choose one and commit to it. There are forces happening which will change the very nature of the universe. And you need to know where you stand in the universe before you can possibly even understand what is going on. I have never presented myself before for these kinds of talks. I am not Reft. I am not the Khaleesi sisters. I am everything except what they are. So understand this. This is important. You must choose a path.
Thank you for your wisdom, Lord Helvoth. And which paths are available to me? I am presented often with many. I am presented with choices. And one thing I've learned recently is that you never left me. Even when I had made questionable decisions and my soul was in the balance, you still remained with me.
Actually, I popped out for a cup of tea. Says a very confused dwarvish undertaker.
I turn around and Helvoth is gone. I had so many questions. Helvoth, is this about the Crepuscularium?
I don't know anything about that, but you have just come back from the dead, so if you've got questions, you should probably ask the person who made you dead. I can't answer them, except that your clothes are in the next room, there's a hot bath, and I think your friends probably want to see you. They've been around like 5 times already.
Thank you. I'm sorry for shouting and for scaring you. I'm feeling a bit dizzy or something, and visions are
He takes
occurring.
3 steps back and watches. Not feeling like that?
I feel
None of that?
None of that? None of what?
Bowels are good?
Oh, I see. No. It's nothing about my bowels, man. It's about my mind. My mind is a little bit discombobulated, but please show me to where my clothes are. I will get dressed, and if you can please take me to my friends. I have things to discuss with them.
You are taken to a chamber, you get your clothes, and then you are taken to a larger area within this temple of Helvoth, and you are shown into a room where the 3 of you are waiting.
So I follow the Undertaker into the room, and it's a large open nave, I imagine, of a church area. There are pews, and I imagine walking into a very somber environment. I imagine that I can't imagine what it must have cost my friends to bring me back.
Well, you don't need to imagine, because the Undertaker says, right, he's been brought back, everything's good. Just know that as per the orders of his worship, there's a little bit of a 6-month turnaround time.
So we must... okay, yeah, I understand.
All good?
How do you feel?
I must admit, it was not a pleasant experience coming back from the dead, and I must apologize to all of you for my actions which led to this point in time. I realize you must have made some deal to bring me back, and I would know what that deal was, but first of all, I must say to each of you, thank you, and I'm sorry for the way I've behaved, for the grief I have brought to you. And I'm not sure if you remember, but you each played a role in me returning to the material plane. I was trialed in front of the arbiter himself, Damnifer against me. You all played a part. You spoke on my behalf. Some of you, it was very painful, clearly, but your words held weight, and it was you all who tipped the tide.
You're sure this was not some kind of dream? Because personally, I have no recollection of this whatsoever. I think I would remember that.
There are some mysteries that I don't propose to understand or believe they need to be understood, but whether it was a dream or not, you spoke on my behalf, and for that I am thankful.
No thanks are necessary. You should be aware, however, of the deal. The dwarves have done this so that we will go and confront and destroy Fazak, Lord Fazak, and thereby relieve the dwarven siege.
Fazak. Yeah. This was the creature we saw under the rope trick long ago.
So unfortunately, we have to go back and deal with him, or it, or her, or whatever it is.
And it's been a few days as well, so the siege of Eric Bar is... Well, we don't even know the situation back there, but time is of the essence.
Yeah.
We are hard pressed to get back there, though we've sequestered help of an airship to transport us back at least half the way. So we should probably go find Captain Higard.
Yes, and we also need a plan, of course, to destroy this Fazak and not get ourselves killed all over again.
But we can discuss that on the way, I feel.
Of course, yeah.
I sense that you are upset, or there are emotions in the room about what happened, but are we all aligned on what needs to happen next? Things happened recently before my death which were not pleasant. I know that the party lost trust in each other, faith in each other. Are we pointed in the right direction?
It may be time that we sort this out once and for all, if we're going to be united in these next steps. To that end, I think this is it for all of us. Let's sort this out, because there's demons we all have to deal with in our past. And so far it's bound so tightly around all of us. At the worst of times when we're at our lowest. No more can we deal with this if we're to proceed. Georgie, of everyone in this chapel, you are the hope that steers us in the chaos, the one we look for the support. And Doran has haunted you with his revelations. God's note, I'm not a forgiving man. I'm not asking that of you. There's no way I would put myself in those shoes. But you've got to find it in yourself to pull through for all of our sakes. Doran, you've just come again against the darkness. It creeps up on you, closer and closer. And yet for all that, your faith hasn't wavered. We need that strength, that purpose, and we need you to figure that out. And your wisdom to overcome the foes that we're about to face. And if we got the time, find a way to shut some contracts up Damnith's arse. And lastly, Gottfried. It's a right old mess we find ourselves in. Worse even than that first time we got you suspended. Yeah, the memories are starting to come back. But if you recall, even back then, we were at each other's throats, but who was it that snuck you back in after that argument with our lecturer?
You remember this?
For you to put a glyph of warding on his chair.
You remember this?
Fond memories, eh?
This was when we were still young boys.
So you killed Averadus. I'm not that man anymore. You can't go back and change that. Neither can I go back and unsign the contract that put us down that path to start with. You're lost your purpose at the moment. But I'd like to remind you that the Corpuscularum, the secrets it holds may be the very ones that we still need. Not just for you and me, for our salvation, but for all of Braxia. We can't leave it in the hands of Shidoth. We don't know to what ends he'd use that knowledge. None of us can go back and undo what we've done. But we have to move on, because it's distracting from the present. And there are people in the here and now that are counting on all of us. Alexandra, he needs us. Eric Barr needs us. Let's take our anger and use it. Put everything we have into this fight. Now what say you? Shall we save the world?
That's the Averadus I remember. Yes.
I like this version of Averadus.
Definitely a damn sight of an improvement on your previous ways.
It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
It's been a long time.
It has.
Georgina?
Well, I've just been speeched at. So, I suppose I should be roused. I mean, if you can forgive your murderer.
I didn't say forgive.
Oh, okay.
I'm not looking for forgiveness.
Redemption, then.
Redemption is the word.
Look, it's going to take me time, but that doesn't mean I can't get the job done. You were a child. You did something stupid. You didn't actually kill my father, but you are the reason. And now there's a threat that is so much bigger than I could possibly comprehend that is going to leave this entire world plane crumbling if we don't do something about it. So of course, I'm ready. I'm ready to get in on the action and do things. But right now, you're a liar. You lied to me. You lied to me about the book. You disappeared. You ran. I don't want there to be any secrets here. I need to know who I'm going in side by side. So if you've got any more bloody secrets, now is the opportunity to just let it all out. Tell me what is going on, what you're hiding from me. And then maybe we can work together, right? Because I don't want any of this shit to go down. I am ready to fight, but I want to at least trust you all.
I don't think I have any secrets from you that, I mean, we have not known each other long enough for any lies to have become embedded. You know what I want. The Crepuscularium. This is a book that is very important for everyone. So,
on that note, there is a sub-clause of my contract that you should know. Should I be presented with the Crepuscularium, Damnifer has sworn me to retrieve it for him.
Oh.
Though, by all means, I will fight that. So we must deal with the contract before I am.
Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution plus 0. That's a 10.
You are suddenly crippled with pain. And the three of you see this brand burning on his forehead.
What is that?
How does it look?
It's
Awful.
It's a D.
It's a D, yes, of course it's a D, yeah.
Someone's pissed off.
Mm.
Are you in pain, Avradis? Have you?
It stings a little, but
Do
it's
you need
passing.
healing?
No.
He's making his presence felt, I suppose, this smiling one.
The reflection of my sword, I see it. Fuck!
Yeah, you're going to need a hat. Well, a bigger hat than the one you've already got.
I do have some larger secrets and some smaller ones. The bigger one is that when I returned from my recent death, my contract with Damnifer was broken. I am no longer beholden to Damnifer, Avradis. There is reason to believe that the contracts can be annulled. Maybe you and I should talk more about this in the future. The second big secret, I suspect I know, Gottfried, the function and form and purpose of the Crepuscularium. There were some discussions in the afterlife, and some powerful beings let slip a couple of points. One is that the Crepuscularium may have power over life and death to some extent.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And secondly, that it can kill gods. I can see why you didn't want me to know.
No. You see, this is good news. And I will tell you why. Good news for you as well. The essence of the Crepuscularium is that it, well, to cut a long story short, it could free the sentient races from slavery to the divine. It can break the link between gods and mortals. And I think possibly even the link you have to Damnifer. If that is the case, you won't need to give it to Damnifer because you will no longer be beholden to him if we secure it.
How will that happen without whatever triggering? It's a catch-22.
Well, I mean, my thinking in all of this that we have spoken of at the moment is that at last we have one very simple task, and I think perhaps we should focus on that first, because you won't be around if we don't do what the dwarves have asked us to do, and that is kill Fazak. We are all rather cross at the moment. Let's take out, as you said, our anger on this one target, strike a real blow against the darkness, and then see where we sit. Because I don't think there's a single conversation that is going to resolve all of this.
And I also don't like the tone of severing mortals from gods. I'm very...
Yes, but see, that is because you... Well, we will discuss this later.
it later.
Yeah.
What's your secret?
Who's
Says
this
the dwarf.
Me? I'm a pretty open book, really. You know I've had the ring. I've been talking to Charles.
Mhm.
I wanted her to protect Alexander. Seems like Alexander has got himself engaged. I need to have a conversation with him. But I can understand why he might be taken in by her wiles, because I've got a crush on her. So, look, I mean, is this...
Wait, you can't have a crush on her.
Why not?
You're in love with him.
No, I'm bloody not.
Who are you?
I'm the Undertaker.
What do you know about all this?
He gave me my underpants.
This is hardly a qualification to diagnose. There's a keeper of underpants is not some kind of...
She's not mad at you, and she's certainly not mad at you. You're only angry at him because he betrayed you. You'd only be that angry if you were in love with him. You can't see it.
There
I've
are
known her
many-
for 5 minutes.
There are many different forms of love.
There's a brother and
Yeah.
sister thing going on here,
Yes.
I think.
This is...
Not brother and sister. I hate to break it to you,
I know.
but there's you know.
I lapsed into dwarven. I know that.
I mean, he's a perfectly fine looking dwarf. I just, not my type.
Yeah, she likes the vampire lady. Very different type.
And I have gotten into so many scrapes with this idiot over our childhood. I've seen him eat his own bogies. There is no way there is anything about this that I find even slightly alluring.
I think she doth protest too much. But that's just me. Right,
Have you been
temple's
speaking-
closed. I'm on lunch. Out you go.
We might have to kill him. He knows too much.
He knows too much.
Ugh. And no offence. Like,
I mean, taken.
yeah, lots of offence.
I do have one extra secret, Georgie. It was me. I stole the pie when we were 6 years old, and I blamed it on you. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have.
I got in so much trouble with my Auntie Petra over
I
that.
know, but it was a gooseberry pie with rhubarb.
And that was meant to be my pudding, and you took it, and then she thought I'd had it early. And
Can we return to the rather important task?
Yes, where is there a pie shop?
No!
What?
Lord Fazak has to die. We need a concrete plan. We have to find him and come up with a plan to destroy him.
yeah, well, we can't do that on an empty stomach.
And bake him into a pie.
Undertaker.
Right, let's have pie.
I'm going to go to the door and open the door and try and call the Undertaker back. Excuse me, Undertaker.
Aye.
Would you mind, please, doing me a favour? Here is some gold.
Aye.
Could you please go and get us at least 4 gooseberry, raspberry, quince, apricot, and peach pies from the local.
I don't go in for sweet.
I don't.
Okay, and some savoury as well.
I don't want.
No! And he slams the door shut.
We've got legs. We can go find
I
something.
don't want a pie from an undertaker. Why don't we go to a baker? You crazy person.
Just put your clothes on,
Are you
and we
all
can
right?
go out.
I mean,
Fix this
did
temperature.
I've been seeing things. It's all a bit weird. Shall we go and drop a battle plan in the bakers?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Battles and bakers.
Dwarvish,
coffee.
the Dwarvish town is abuzz with military action. Everyone is arming up. It looks like people are stocking up. You can see families loading wagons with goods and things. There is a baker who is still baking all kinds of different types of breads, mainly breads that survive on a good long travel or march. However, there is some gooseberry and rhubarb pie available, yes. So you find yourselves in a quiet bakery off one of the main streets. The ceiling is unfortunately low. It is dwarvish area.
I don't like.
I feel like I belong here.
What is your plan?
First, we must locate it. We must locate this Lord Fazak.
Have you got that smoky thing still?
I don't. I lost that power. Went down for a
That would have actually been useful.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can I ask? What? I mean, I don't need a blow-by-blow account of everything that happened in the last few days. Maybe you would have told me a few things while we were walking to the bakery. Let's just try and understand what we have in terms of assets that are available at our call to try and accomplish this task of destroying Fazak. We have an airship. We have us 4. We have a contingency of the Black Talon.
Unofficially, don't say that too loud.
Oh, the dwarf ninjas.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is a ninja?
Who knows?
Now, did the Black Talon promise to help in any way other than transportation?
That's it.
Yeah, they're just going to get us there, and then it's on us.
Well, we can be persuasive, surely.
We
Well,
were
that is-
persuasive.
Uh-oh.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think I said thank you at the beginning. Okay, so that's one thing. We also have, via the priest of Halvoth, I assume are some clerics, and we do have the opportunity to communicate with allies or potential allies. Because one thing, we have a very short list of people we can call on right now, apart from us 4 people. But maybe we have potential allies. Maybe we can set balls in motion which may bear some fruit just when we need it in a few days' time when we eventually do corner Fasak.
I have forgotten something. Where is Alexander? Do we know?
He's been resting. He was in really bad shape. So
He's
I've
here.
been. He's here. He's protected.
He's missing a leg.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that makes 2 of us. Because Doran also has a leg. I believe.
Hey.
That's
think so.
not great.
Okay, anyway. I think in the Beholder fight, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
I didn't
But it's
remember
back
that.
now.
Nom, nom.
Got better.
Oh, did it come back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're resurrected.
Oh, I see. So it all comes back, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we could
Good.
got rid of some of that grey as well.
All right. Georgie?
Yeah.
Captain Charles has been in contact with you over the last few
Yeah,
days.
I've got a direct link to her.
Do you think it's worth seeing if any of them will? Because
Yeah, I don't know where she is. She kind of left
In a
Alexander
hurry.
for me, and I didn't see her. So
Oh, she has, what is the word? Ghosted you? Is that what it is?
I mean, she's
it'd be more like
disappeared.
a mist.
Yeah.
Misted you.
She's misted you.
Well, I misted her too. I'll give her a ring and find out what the situation is.
I could potentially barter with her.
What you got to barter?
Alexander.
No.
Um,
The whole reason we've gone through all the shit is to protect him.
Yeah, I wasn't saying betrothal. He can make those choices when he's of age.
Yeah.
But Drakhamore are desperate for alliances. We can talk to Alexander about promising, writing an official accord to promise them friendship.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds promising friendship rather than getting engaged.
of course. Yeah.
Someone considerably older than you sounds like a much better idea.
Yes, and also there's a vampire question, but
Well, yeah. But
essentially
they are the only safe place right now.
that's fine. But what I'm also thinking is, at one point we said the truth about everything we have done needs to be known, and Alexander has been a witness to almost all of it.
Mm.
And his testimony in a kind of official capacity might mend some bridges, especially with the elves. I believe that I could, if I was able to get a message to the elves, they are creatures of logic, I could persuade them that it is in their interests to establish the truth of our account of his abduction, etc. And if we could mend that bridge, well, that is enormous. Because the elves, we can't have that as an enemy on top of all this darkness.
Beyond the initial danger, I would like to propose, should we return, that we would have some political clout, having struck back a blow against the darkness, though that's getting ahead of ourselves.
Mm.
With that potential clout, I think we should aim to look at historical precedent and see what conclave we can house, get all the big nations together, and
What does conclave mean?
a gathering of the powers that be.
Oh, okay.
The kings, the queens.
Big meet-up.
Big meet-up.
That's it.
Discuss the defense of the material plane and the threats that loom above us.
But this is
This is
too far
further
ahead.
on, but I think this is this
Maybe
will
in
be
the letter.
a good point to get Alexander
Isn't it
on
like
that
a
stage.
bit of a bad idea to get all the important people together and then they can just be a real easy target?
Yeah, But
Well, they
it
don't
goes
actually have
both
to meet.
ways.
We just
Okay.
send messages. And
Well, if they are together, then let's say there's some sort of espionage, and we'll be there to provide counter-espionage. It could be a great fun thing.
we are not here for entertainment. Be Everardus, not Avery, all right?
What do you want to be called, by the way?
Oh, let's just go with Avery.
Cool.
And then Melleblanche.
Avery
sorry, but-
Melleblanche.
I'm going to call you by your real name. Everardus is your real name. Anyway, look.
What do you prefer? Because surely you should be called by the name you want to be called, right?
I'm going to call him Everardus. I don't give a shit what he wants. Now,
That sounds like real friendship, Godfrey.
That's a true dead
Maybe.
name in there.
Everardus Avery. It is really up to you.
Okay, as long as you're happy with it, that's the most important thing.
Now.
Easy.
Okay.
let us have a concrete plan. First things first. So yes, we can ask Alexander to do this for us. Perhaps you can also use your contacts in the Twilight Order to relay a message from us to the Ethane Democracy, if at all possible, avoiding this Thalador, because we know he is the fifth column in the whole situation. But again, this is long-term thing. I think, given the time that is pressing, Eric Barr needs our assistance immediately, as quickly as we can get there. And we should simply focus on killing Fazak.
To that end, we know what happens when we come up against the Centaur army as a party of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be just the head. Cut off the head.
Exactly.
Sneaky,
Separate
sneaky.
Yes.
and eliminate is the name of the game. Separate or infiltrate and eliminate.
Maybe we can get some tips off the Black Talon, because they are really good at the sneaking.
Indeed.
I propose that you work on the elimination and I work on the distraction. I'm happy to, depending on the situation, depending on the state of Eric Barr, that I propose that I find my way into the city. Find anyone left alive who can pose enough of a threat, even temporary, or cause a big enough distraction to split their focus for but a moment so that you have a better chance of eliminating Fazak.
Well, we will need you in the fight against
Yeah.
Fazak as well. But this might be something we do first, and also with a view that maybe somebody within the city who knows where Fazak's
Well, can
camp
we
or
get in
headquarters
contact with our previous current?
Drone is
Drone?
the merchant.
Find
but we
out what's
also know
going on.
The Dane, of course, as well. We know of them. I mean, my feeling is, when I'm listening to this talk about the strategic way we're going to address this, my feeling is we need to draw Fazak away from the main army. I think we can deal with a smaller force. I think that the approach of trying to infiltrate a massive centaur army is challenging.
No,
If
he
we
wants to
could-
infiltrate the city, though.
I
right?
understand, yes. But my point is, why don't we draw Fazak away? And what is it that we have that Fazak really wants? First of all, it's a victory. We spoiled their plans by defeating the clay pots, made their life a lot more difficult. So I'm sure that they are angry with us, but it seems that they also wish for the boy. That's what we've seen. The common thread on our journey to Dwarven lands now is that they want the boy. We can potentially lure Fazak away from the main centaur army with a promise only of the boy. The boy will be nowhere near. The boy will be safe here.
But the boy will
Hordar.
still be on these lands. As far as they last lost track of the boy when we left the Elvish city, right?
When
we could have gone anywhere.
When we got back to
We could have sent
Eric
him
Barr,
anywhere.
that's when we got him the ring that
Of no protect of.
that hid him.
Yeah.
So they knew he was there.
How?
Well, we know that they're tracking him.
We got rid of the
Magic.
tracking device.
That might not be the only way that they're tracking him.
I'm also saying we just.
But there's a chance they don't know he's on this
Yeah,
continent.
and I'm not saying we tell them where he is. I'm just saying we say that we will hand him over and lure Fazak out to collect him. But
We
he's
must
nowhere
have a
near.
better way of
Logically,
luring.
if they've seen us, they know he's with us.
We could have sent him somewhere else.
Do you have an idea, Georgie, how we can lure them out?
Well, why don't we try with the, like, hey, yeah, we fucked up your plans, come get us.
That's. I mean, is that it may not be enough.
Or maybe we want to start an alliance. We've got some interesting books. We've got some interesting information.
Mhm.
Perhaps we should try to get the dwarves to equip us a little bit. For example, some kind of spell that we could use to locate Fazak and track him.
Why don't you tell them you've got information about the Kalupajabajabajaba?
Yes,
Surely they want that as well. Surely everybody's looking for that.
I don't want to... Well, I don't really want to tell the dwarves... My idea is simply that they want us to kill Fazak, so sell us some stuff that will help us to do that, you know.
Yeah, but use that as an temptation for Fazak.
Oh, well...
Yeah, surely if he could get his hands on that,
I don't
that
think...
would be much more powerful than a prince.
His master's master already has it, because the
We believe Shidoff has it already, and if that's the case, well...
They were looking for it.
When we interviewed Shidoff in the prison under Quethlin, Shidoff was apprehended in the library looking for the book with no name.
They don't have it.
But, well...
If they did, maybe all this would already be over.
There's too much we don't know with a certainty.
Here are the 3 hooks to lure Fazak. Alex, the boy. 2, us. And 3, information about the whereabouts or the power of the Crepuscularium. If any of these 3 hooks works, then we have them. It doesn't really matter whether it's true or not. It's
I
just
want
about
the
luring
boy
them
to be
out.
the final...
The final hook. And just to be clear, I'm not suggesting...
He's been through enough. We don't need to put him in more danger.
And I'm not suggesting he's anywhere near. I'm suggesting he's safe in Hordak or making his way to the Tri-Cities.
How
Do we
safe
trust
is all of this
leaving
right
him
now?
again?
I think we need to... We shouldn't bring him with us. We should trust him to the protection of the dwarves.
He's safe with them and with us.
But
I
even
think we've
then,
proven that.
if anybody knows that he's on this continent, people will be looking for him.
Last time we left him with the elves, they tried to ship him back home. We don't know... You trust the Black Scale? That incompetent that tried to interrogate
We cannot
us?
keep on dragging him into... We can't drag him into a battle, into a
It's true.
war zone.
Too dangerous.
We've got to trust somebody, and these guys, we've got a deal.
What
And
about
I trust...
Charles?
Well, I need to go talk to Alexandra and make sure he's not going to just go marry her, so... But yeah, of course. I that is somewhere where, at least Carr told us, they don't have a stronghold. They haven't got their agents into the old vampire land, so that is still an option. And if it keeps them safe, I am on board with it.
Warming to Avery's thinking.
So I've been studying the maps around the western portion of the Dwarven lands, and this is my strategic appraisal of it. If we take the airship from Hordak to the edge of the Tungin Wood, which is framed by the coastline on one side and the mountains on the other, this is a good place for an ambush or for facing Fazak. They don't have much room to maneuver, and the centaurs also don't have much area to flank us or get around us. If we can lure Fazak to this area using one of those 3 hooks, we have a chance to deceive them and to attack them and to finish them. And my hope is that Fazak, as the head of the snake, when the Fazak goes down, the centaurs might be free from their influence. If they have turned into undead already, they may be returned to their original state. That's the kind of battleground I think we should take. If we can convince the Black Talon further to drop us off at Tungin Wood and circle back, and I'll show you all the map when I've got it, circle back around the mountains and cut off any retreat that Fazak might want to make, that will also benefit us extensively. The delicate point here is that Fazak needs to feel that the battle in Eridbar is going well, so that they can't just leave the Battle of Eridbar with all of the centaurs. So your point, Averatus, about making a concerted push in Eridbar is a good one. I wonder, when we contact the elves, it's not too many days ago that they were hunting us on an armada of ships. If we told them where we were, perhaps the arrival of the elves might make enough of a distraction that most of the centaur army must remain behind in Eridbar.
If they get through the merfolk. But the elves are skillful sailors. At least it'll be a further pawn on the You didn't see how quickly those ships went down.
Well, yeah. Let's talk to these Black Scale Talon, whatever they are, first, and see if they're amenable to all this and what else they might be able to provide us with.
Okay.
I mean, to my mind, one way or the other, we We need to know whatever we face, it really is Fazak and not somebody. I mean, we are going to try and engage in deceptions. We must assume the same of Fazak. So,
And perhaps they might have some contact with people in Ericvar to be able to give us what the current situation is. If not, if we can message somebody there.
The shopkeeper or whatever,
Yeah.
if he's still alive.
Droon.
Okay.
And
So-
I should go talk to Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Should we separate to go do this, or do you want to do it together?
I don't mind.
I will go to the clerics and start sending sendings.
I will go to Alexander.
I will come with you if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all, Gottfried.
Avery, where are you going?
I wanted to speak with Charles, but we can meet up later and do that.
Yeah.
I'll follow Doran for now then.
All right, so the two of you are going to...
Back to the Church of Halloth to speak to the clerics and rope them into helping with sending sendings.
You want us to send how many messages?
Several. I will also send some. This is important.
And we would charge you per message 120 gold pieces.
Perfect. I have a wealthy benefactor who's going to get... You can send the invoice to the... I'm a knight of the Twilight Order. Your costs will be covered.
The what?
The Twilight Order, don't make jokes with me. You have a protectorate in the capital city itself.
You mean the city 1,000 miles that way?
Correct.
If you pull the other one, it's got bells on it.
Oh dear.
Cash, no credit.
Cash, no credit. Well, let's see what money I have anyway. Okay,
Got 40 gold pieces.
313 gold, 135 silver.
That's 2 messages.
2 messages.
Oh,
I've still got quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
925.
So whom would you like to send these messages to?
Why don't we cut across so I can compose those messages?
Well, before we
Hang
cut,
on.
have we discussed what aid the Twilight Order can pose to some of the refugees who'll be fleeing Ericvar?
We have not.
I think it's worth somebody looking out for them, gathering any sort of force. If we're not to fight in the city, perhaps some who have fled can be corralled into posing aid for us and meeting us at the ambush site. And at least medical aid.
I'm looking at you as Doran with new eyes. Averatus, this is a nobler thought than I had expected from you for some time.
What can I say? I'm the very soul of charity these days.
We'll discuss it with the church and see what we can do.
Right. In the meantime, actually, Scott, can you look at the drawer behind you? There should be some markers. I just need a mark. I realise I don't have it. In the meantime, Gottfried and Georgie. Where are you heading to? Back to the...
try to find this Alexander.
Yeah,
boy.
wherever Alexander has...
Just give me all of them, that's fine. No, 3 colours, it's fine.
I'm assuming he's been resting all this time and
Yes, he is a guest of the Black Scale.
Said 3,
Thank you.
you shall have 4.
I appreciate that. He is in the custody of the Black Scale under his protection, their protection. The dwarves will let you see him, of course, and he sort of perks up a little bit.
How you doing?
Are you going to shout at me again?
No, I'm just, I want to see how you're getting on. Have you been resting well? How's...
Yes, and my dwarvish is improving. And he
Fantastic!
holds up a book.
Wow, you are doing so well. I'm really impressed.
The title of the book is Love Poetry.
Oh god.
Ah.
Dwarven love poetry.
Yes.
Oh, have you found a nice young dwarvish lady that you'd like to woo?
Compare thee to a pickaxe.
It'd be Robbie Burns, you know.
No.
Are you still intending...
You said you weren't going to shout at me anymore.
I'm not going to shout. I am going to speak in a very calm way. I'm not angry. I'm disappointed.
That's worse, man. That's worse.
He defiantly points his chin out at you.
What a fine chin you have. I am not saying this to be a big old meanie. I am saying this because I have grown to care for you whilst you have been in our protection. And you are, though you are a king in the making, you are still a child. You are a teenage boy, and you are working things out. And to be engaged at such a young age, it's not good. Do you know how old she is? Like really, really old. And you've got so much to do. You need to fall in love. You need to have a wonderful, amazing love story. You need to live your life. And she just, she's great, but I don't think she has your best interests at heart in the engagement. And I'm not sure if she's in love with you.
She's also dead.
I know she's a vampire, she told me. And I do have a romantic story. She swept in and saved me from a basement and kept me protected from a horde of undead that came to try and attack us. And then we fled the city under moonlight. We sailed across the coastline looking for a place to hide out.
It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I mean, I can't really argue with that. Of course, that's lovely. But she came and rescued you because I asked her to. Because I wanted you to be safe.
Uncle Avery saved him from knitwear.
Yeah. Plenty of us have saved you.
Anyway.
Yeah, I have something I want to ask of you.
I'll think about it.
Thank you, Alexander. We appreciate it. But, I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't use this relationship to make alliances with Drakenmore. Gottfried, you've...
Yes. First of all, Alexander, I don't really care about this, but you should be able to put your emotions to one side as a king and evaluate the situation rationally.
Yeah.
Just be aware of what her motives might be politically. This is all I would say. Now, I want you to do something for me.
So you want me to lie to her?
No. You put your feelings aside and you think about the situation from a rational point of view. Is she leading you along by the nose, is all I want to say.
But isn't that what you just accused her of?
Oh my God. Look, never mind the romance, okay? Let's put this aside. You have responsibilities as a king, because you are king now, are you not?
Yes.
Good. Now, as a king, I want you to do me a favor. Do you believe that we, so far, have done our best to protect you? We were not entirely successful, but we tried, yes?
Yes.
All I want you to do is, via these dwarves, to use your position as a king to get the message to the elves, the Ethane democracy, your side of the story.
But I thought we weren't supposed to talk to Lord Dis.
We're not going to talk to Lord Dis. It must be to the High Mark. We must get around.
I've met him once, but I was like 5.
It doesn't
he
matter.
was 800.
It doesn't matter whether you met him or not. You are king. You are acting in that capacity, not his friend or his buddy or anything like this. You are king. You talk to the High Mark as an equal, yes? And you give your side of the story. This is all I am asking you to do, because they need to know the truth. I believe that they have essentially a spy, this Thalador, working in their midst, and they need to know this. And they need to know that we are not their enemy. You understand?
But you're not the elves' enemy.
I know, but they think we are. Keep up, Alexander. This is important. You are king now.
All right, I understand.
Good. So you'll do this for me.
Yes.
Thank you. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to hear. Share the truth as you know it. Especially, we tried to save you. We didn't abduct you. We were trying to protect you, etc., etc. That's all I need you to do. Thank you.
And the High Mark still believes, or the High King believes, that
So the
your
High Mark
father has been brought back.
But he has.
It's not your dad, darling.
Oh, one thing at a time.
How do you know that?
Because it's not. They wouldn't explode his head only to bring him right back. They need a puppet. A lot is happening right now, and it's more than I can comprehend. It's like we're being invaded by somewhere beyond this plane. Something is coming from somewhere that doesn't exist here. And they want to take over. And they've started with killing your parents.
Georgie, forgive me, but let's not try to settle this now. The boy has enough on his mind.
I know, but you're intelligent.
Well,
He is, and you've learnt a lot in this time, and I do need to stop babying you. You're a young man. I'm just trying to encourage you to make decisions that are best for you. I want you to be happy, and I want you to be safe.
He nods slowly and puts down the book of love poetry and sort of pulls on his shirt. And he says, then we should summon whoever is going to send the message for me to the elves.
yeah. As I say, I think you must speak to your equal in the dwarves insofar as you can find one. Remember, you are king. You can make demands. You want to send a message, ask them to make sure this happens. We are on our own quest at this point, and we cannot help you with this. I want you to be that king and make this happen. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
Good.
Back in the church. So have you worked out what you want to send yet, sir?
Yes, I have 2 messages to send to you and also a follow-up task, if I may. But let's get to the messages first of all.
Right.
I would have you send a message to Veilkeeper Gavrel Umbrathella. She is the Veilkeeper from Quethlin.
An elf. Right.
Yes. The message is as follows.
Is there anything about not leaving shiny objects on our desk?
Alas, 25 words.
Yeah.
Cover interior design, Averados. The message is as follows. Secure the prisoner, Shidoth. He is more than he seems. Watch him at all times. Interplanar threat. Darkness covers Erig Bar. Relay aid.
Okay. I'm just trying to look through my notes and see what I wrote, but I can't see what I wrote, so that's fine. Can you just repeat very briefly that again?
Secure the prisoner, Shidoth. He is more than he seems. Watch him at all times. Interplanar threat. Darkness covers Erig Bar. Relay aid. S'il vous plaît.
Yes.
Okay. Your second message, sir.
The second message, Averados, I intend to find out the status of the Drow kingdoms. I do not want to do this without discussing it with anyone. I do not invite them to the fight. I'm not asking for their aid. I simply wish to understand.
For begging your pardon, sir.
Yes.
I couldn't help but over notice. We're
Drow.
not sending any messages to those dark elves.
Right. You don't do that.
They can rot in their tunnels.
I was going to
And
say.
I would have expected more from you.
Yeah.
I have been away from the kingdom for far too long, obviously.
Aye.
You
Okay.
may not want to reveal just how undwarfish your political values are.
Yes, I was brought up far away from here more recently. I need to remember where I came from. The other 2 messages I have to send are of a more personal nature, so I shall not ask you to send those. But I do have one additional request. There is a book, Averatus. I mentioned a book to you that was part of my issue when I was younger. It resides still near my hometown of Stonehurst. It has potential power and danger. I think that it should be returned and kept safe. I would have someone retrieve this book for us, but I do not want to do it unless I have discussed, at least with one of you.
Absolutely. You plan for it to be returned to us?
It helped it rent open an opening to the Shadowfell in the past. I fear that we may have to return there again sometime in the future, and this might provide us the ability to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. We can't have it fall into enemy hands, and it's the sort of thing that I don't even want to imagine Gottfried's reaction when he gets his hand on it, but let's just say excitement doesn't even begin.
It's not Gottfried I'm worried about so much.
No, I'm not worried.
It is a sensitive topic, but given the fact that we are being more trustful and open with each other, maybe I will speak with Georgie first before I retrieve the book.
That's the point.
I may come back to you. What do you call it? Priest?
Father.
Father.
No, call him father. It's weird. Brother.
Brother. I may come back to you, brother. Okay.
There's a response.
Oh.
Okay.
And his eyes kind of glaze over, and his posture changes, and his head tilts to the side. Unable to comply. Lord Thaladar requested prisoner transfer. More information required on threat.
That's bad news.
Was it good news?
It was not the news I was hoping for, but probably the news I expected, frankly.
That's a pity. Sorry about that.
Okay. So I will move away a little bit from this priest, and I will go to a corner, and I'm going to send 2 messages. One to Eldritch, Eldred Virnich, the Duskwarden, and the second to Nora Duskholm, my mother. I'll maybe start with the one to my mother.
Your actual mother?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And the message as follows. Mother, I'm sorry I left you all those years ago. I was wrong and made many mistakes. Darkness is coming. Get the village to safety.
Wow. Okay.
She's going to tell you, we weren't here for Christmas, and you didn't send me a Mother's Day card, and now you're telling me to move the whole village.
Wow. Okay. There is no response.
Uh-oh.
You got 2 green ticks. The message has been read, but no response.
So read but not, she could.
Okay. 2 green ticks.
This is worrying indeed. And by the way, Stonehurst is not far from where we are.
No.
Right? It's actually quite close. Okay, and then the second message, I file that a little bit, and my last message goes to the Duskwarden, and I say, I remember, of course, the Duskwarden's plea in hell when Doran was on trial. Of course, he doesn't remember that. He'll say, Heart, my love for you burns bright. Evil threatens the land. Whispers of the crepuscularium are heard. Do you know anything of it? Question mark. That's one word.
Question mark.
So the response to that is I am so glad to hear that you are all right. Much going on in Brunei. Very complex. Book apocryphal. Last known. Last
Suspected.
rumor. Gottfried? Question mark. Which is one word.
Okay. I relay what Eldritch said to Avaradas and suggest that we go and meet up with the gang.
Okay, so we're coming back from...
I would like to send a personal message as well.
Oh.
To Captain Benteen.
Yeah.
Should she still live?
She might be able to tell us what's going on in life.
Do you want to read this message out, or should we just...
Can you send a dick pic?
Can't do that.
We're
with this
working on it, sir, but so far it's just very small.
True to life.
Oh,
Shots fired. Benteen, my God. Okay. Hang on a second. We've got to read something here.
the ship was sunk, wasn't it? Our ship was sunk.
We didn't see
We
it
didn't see it,
sink,
so
but we
we kind of
assume
assumed,
that
yeah.
probably.
But
We
Ah,
know.
yes.
Folk
Okay,
from
yes.
land.
Send message.
Okay. I'm not going to start with my dearest because I need to be as concise as possible. Hunker down. Don't trust sea. Merfolk threaten coasts. Help coming to Eric Bar. Rally all capable for counterattack. Help me find you.
Making you
Messagey,
think.
messages.
Yeah, no pressure jumping from one personality to the other.
Yeah,
there, mate.
right. And then being
His
succinct and-
mom and you.
Love affair.
Lover to lover.
Mother not responding.
That's not good,
Choosing not
definitely.
to respond.
Yeah.
Oh, choosing.
Oh, choosing not to respond.
Yeah.
What did you do to piss her off, man?
What, you mean
not
apart
contact
from
her
not
for
contacting her?
12
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah,
don't.
little
Yeah.
things.
You don't.
He fucked off for a long time
Mm.
and didn't talk to no one.
He doesn't know about the dirty dark secret either. That's going to be
No.
another
Dear God.
slap in the face.
You would have been safer dead.
I
She's one thing, but your dwarf mom,
Yeah,
that's another issue.
I know. Well, as I said, my next character is going to be a Harrigan called Blueberry.
Who loves everyone who's
Who
never
loves-
done anything wrong.
Yeah. Well, my intention is to go find a shop, see if we can tool up. You know.
Not bad, chap.
All right.
Oh.
The response you get from Captain Granica is, and again the dwarf's face changes slightly. No shit. In Citadel, all crap. Come quick, trebuchet problem. See unusable boobs. We'll be back next week.
Switch all my conversations now. Boobs.
Boobs. Love it.
Right, favourite moment of today.
Boobs.
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 Yeah.
Okay, there we go. To anyone who has boobs, which is pretty much, well, it's everyone, really, technically.
Just different.
Are not we mammals?
Yeah, so to all the non-lizard folk out there,
Hmm.
thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.